So how do you sell to somebody that doesn't have a budget? How do you sell to somebody who doesn't have a budget? That's what we're covering in today's episode 710 of the Daily Sales Message podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice. It's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. Now, you know as well as I do, when you're buying something, of course you've got a budget. You know you've got a certain amount of money you can spend, or you're willing to spend on something, but you're just not going to share that with the salesperson for whatever reason. A lot of the time it's just through fear, because I think if I tell you that my budget is £1 million, then look at that, the quote is 999,999. Doesn't always happen that way, but we're guarded, so that's why we do that. So when you're selling to somebody and you say, have you got a budget? No, that's a lie, basically. Yes, they do. They've got a budget, they've got something they can afford or something they're wanting to spend, but it's how do we find that? How do we find that? And there's a couple of ways we can do it. First one is, what did you spend last time on X? So if it's a repeated purchase, like a holiday, so last time you went away, how much did you spend? Now, you've got them on a sticky wicket there, haven't you? Because they can't say, oh, I don't know, I can't remember, because you're going to remember what you spent on a holiday. So how much did you spend last time you went on a holiday? So you can use that as kind of a rough guide. The second one is you can just make a suggestion. Before we get too far into this, so you haven't got a budget, that's fine. Generally, something like this is in the region of £1,000 to £4,000, depending on a few different factors. Can you handle that kind of a range, or is that more or less than you're expecting? And again, they have to give you an answer. They can't then say, oh, I don't know, please quote me. They have to give you an answer, but you're drawing a line in the sand somewhere. And the reality is, you've got a price that you're going to sell something for. They've got a price they want to buy for. The quicker you reveal your hand, as it were, and say, well, it's going to be about this, and the quicker they reveal their hand and go, oh, I've got about that much money, then we can decide if it's a match or not, and if we're wasting anybody's time or not, and we can move forward. But it's just a nicer way to do it. So the next time somebody says, oh, we don't have a budget, I'm telling you, they absolutely do. They just don't want to share it with you. So we ask them what they spent on something similar previously, if applicable, and or we just tell them roughly ballpark what it's going to cost. Say, is it kind of what you're expecting? Would that be okay for you? And then move forward. What we don't want to do is just go, okay, no budget, that's fine, and I'll quote you, and spend lots of time doing something, and then we've wasted our time because they never had the money to begin with. Right, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Tomorrow in episode 711, just like the shop, how to spot a tire kicker. How to spot a tire kicker. There's one thing in particular that I always fall back on, and I'll share that with you in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, thank you for listening or watching all the way to the end. I appreciate it. I'll catch you tomorrow for another exciting edition of the Daily Sales Message.